going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Marvel Legends Infinite series, the Avenging Allies, Sentry. Now here we have Sentry in the box. Besides the arms of the All-Father, he doesn't come with any accessories that I can see, and I don't think he does. But on the side we have a nice picture of Sentry, and on the other side, Machine Man. So really glad that they're doing that with the variant figures. On the back, no real read-up. It just says, Avenging Allies, these heroes fight to find their origins and discover their true identities. And then we have Sentry at the top, and Machine Man. Build the All-Father, and of course the figures in this wave include Iron Fist, Machine Man, Sentry, Hawkeye, Thor, Captain Marvel, and Scarlet Witch. I'm really excited I have this guy, so what I'm going to do now is take a little break, get him open up, and we'll go on to the rest of his review, so sit tight everybody. So here we have Sentry posing out of the packaging. Now before we get on to Sentry himself, the only accessories he did come with are really the Build-A-Figure pieces to Odin. Now if we bring Machine Man's pieces out, you can see the right arm is the same. Same mold, same everything, but the left arm, we have armored plating right here, going down the full arm, and this one's kind of bare. This is meant for King Thor, this is meant for Odin, which, you know, I might display my Odin with this arm just because, you know, it looks cool. But I don't know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So let's move those off to the side, so we can get onto Sentry. Let's do a full 360 of him. You know, I don't know too much about Sentry, honestly. But he does look cool, I'm not gonna lie. The cape is really rigid and I don't like the way the cape is. It is removable, although I'm not sure if it's intended to be removable. It's probably not. And you can see that the cape is supposed to actually go around his neck, but they just kind of painted this part, and it looks bad, honestly. They could have done so much more with this figure, because it just looks sloppy and it looks lazy, honestly. Let's take his cape off for the sake of the review. But here's Sentry, and there's not much to say about his costume. It's yellow and blue. But let's actually go into some of the detail on that S. It is gold painted, so that's really nice. It's clean for the most part. I'm not gonna knock it, but you can see, no, there is some excess plastic in there, but oh well, I got it off my finger, so that's good. I'm not sure the camera is picking it up, but he does have like an orange wash in his body. You can see it more when I cover it up, but there is like an orange wash going throughout his body. On the back only, on the front. On the back there is no paint on for the wash, so that's kind of disappointing. I kind of wish that they had gone all the way with it. Zooming the camera back out. Something I will point out is that he is using the bigger Hyperion mold, and honestly the head seems a little too small for the body. If you remember my Toxin review, I said the head was too long. His is too tiny. Maybe if it had been just that much where the space between my fingers, between his chin, if it was probably that much longer, I wouldn't have a problem with it, but you know, his head looks really tiny on this body. I'm not sure if there was a smaller body they could have used, or maybe just made his head a little bigger. Then that would have made a world of differences. His belt is removable. It is not sculpted on. It is a floating piece. I don't know how I feel about these floating pieces. You know, a lot of people said that the DC Universe Classics were lazy because they didn't sculpt everything. But the belts weren't floating. They were actually their own separate piece that pegged onto the torso. And I'm not going to get into the details of how it was made, but you know, maybe they should start doing that, it might add some more size to the figure. I'm not sure if it's to save on cost, but it kind of seems lazy when they just have these floating pieces not sculpted on. I mean, who knows, somebody's going to probably take this off and put it on Sabretooth, and the S stands for Sabretooth, so I guess it works. So going on to his detail, let's zoom in on his face. That's a really wicked face sculpt. I do like that. I'm not sure how I feel about his hair. His hair, I don't know, it's blowing off to one side, and I really do not like when figures have that issue with capes and hair going off to one side, and then somewhere else in the display the figures have it blowing in another direction. So, you know, it just looks bad when things aren't always going in the same direction. They all need to go in one direction, if you ask me. But anyway, going on to his articulation, he has a ball joint head. He can look left, right, up and down on the ball joint. He does have a hinged neck, because, like I said, he is using the Hyperion mold, but his head can't look back further than that because of the hair. But it does go down really well, and can't really go up. Arms on a ball joint go out. Do a full 360. He spins at the bicep, double jointed at the elbow. He spins and bends at the wrist, bend at the wrist, and spins. He has an ab crunch, which works really well, and he even has more abs sculpted underneath his already chiseled physique, so more abs the better, I guess. He does spin at the waist. However, if you spin too much, it will detach the belt, so that's a problem that you're going to have to live with. Legs go forward, back, and out. They spin at the thigh. He is double jointed in the knee. He spins at the boot. Has a hinged ankle, as well as some pivot, so you can get him in a lot of nice dynamic posing. So that's Sentry for you. What I'm going to do now is take a little break, get him posed for my final thoughts, then we'll wrap up his review. So sit tight, everyone. And here's Sentry posed for my final thoughts, and I forgot to point out that he does have some paint imperfections on his leg right there. Not so much on this leg, just on this leg, which is a little unfortunate. You know, paint errors seem to be the bane of my existence. I found Sentry at Kmart for about $19.99. That's about what you're going to be paying for all Marvel Legends figures these days. Would I recommend picking him up? Yes, he is an essential part to the Allfather Build-A-Figure, especially if you're trying to make Odin and you don't want to use the metal-plated armor arm. Humor later. Now, I do like this figure. I do recommend him. It's just that he does kind of seem plain, and they got lazy with his cape. Overall, still a good figure. If you can find him, pick him up. He's going to look nice, and he is one figure that we were supposed to get in the past with Hyperion, but they axed him for some reason, and now they released him. If you can find him, pick him up. He's well worth it, and he'll look great in your collection, especially if you need to update Sentry. And this is King of Dragons 5000 saying I'll see you later. Take care, everyone. 光と影の別の心降り注がれ